Hey, welcome on to Philosophical Wednesday, and today we'll talk about the philosophy as usually in software design. And today I want to dedicate this session to the Lena Anderson. So she's the Danish philosopher that wrote a lot of interesting books, and she had a little short article that really impressed me this week. And the headline that it's a complex problems, and it's a couple of things that really impressed me, so I'll try to read it to you right now. So we do not solve the problems we have, we solve the problems that we understand. And even this quote deserves a separate article, to be honest, which means that are a lot of problems that we do not solve, or either because we do not engage with them or because we misunderstood them and make them worse. Sometimes problems are technically complicated, but more often they are complex. And in complex problems, several problems interact, impact each other, and solving one problem just leads to another problem somewhere else. We need to change our perspective. We need to build the education that allow us to deal with the complexity, and needs building that allow us to be emotional comfortable about it. And these statements could easily start the series of videos because we have so many different things. We have the problem of the understanding, and it's fundamental one. Yeah, and it's the main problem why I always try to work in a small companies. In a small companies, closer to founders, closer to products, that I understand our mission, and I really try to translate this mission together with the CTO, for example, to the technical architecture, that we all understand what kind of problem we solve. And we need to involve more the domain experts, the user interviews, and all other things, because I really believe that the main goal of the principal engineer is to bring this understanding on table and translate it to the architecture. And quite often, we all, as a developers, have the problem that instead of solving the real problems of the users or real problems of the companies, we just play with yet another computer science toy or yet another fancy platform that make it super interesting. Or we want to solve some super interesting technical challenge that maybe doesn't really matter for the company survival, for the profit and all those things. So the understanding for me, it's a cornerstone, and I really believe that without the understanding, we couldn't do much. I really like her statement about uh, complex problems, that it's usually a lot of factors that contributes to each other, and when you try to fix one, you broke something else, and then you become the bigger problem. And these complex interactions really describe my day-to-day life, right? Because this complexity, uh, it's understanding of the multiple things. Sometimes it's involve multidisciplinary and folks, because these different problems could came from completely different domain, from completely different areas, and maybe one person is not enough to understand it. But sometimes you need to have a person that could glue the people with these different understandings. And it's the main idea of the principal developers, that they glue together somehow the experts to find the common uh, solution. Yeah. And the last part of the article, it's really impressive also, that we need to change the perspective, we need to change the education. And what's more fundamental, we need to be emotionally comfortable with the complexity, because quite often we don't even try to solve the problems because they're complex. They scare us. We refuse to go to the complex paths. We prefer something simple. We prefer something more controllable, more predictable, something we could easily plan, something that we could fit to the sprint, because the complexity just scare us, and that's it. And especially it happens when you go to somebody else's land. Yeah, when you have the problem in a domain that you have a little understanding, For me, such domain, for example, is the machine learning because I trying to get better in machine learning. I trying to get better in classical machine learning and understand all this from the mathematical perspective and all those things. But still, it's not my piece of cake. I more this data guy with the graphs and cryptography, sovereign data, and all of the things that I deeply believe, and I could talk for the hours why we need the sovereign data for the artificial intelligence. But could not fine tune or train the model myself. I need to rely on the people that know how to do it. And we have such people in the team, they amazing folks. Yeah, so this little article start with the understanding as a cornerstone, then show the challenge of the complexity, right? And finish with this, multi dimensions, how to be emotional comfortable with the complex problems, how to change the education to build this emotional support and readiness to solve the complex problems. And let's talk about the education. But in education, I guess that we mean, not just schools or universities. We really believe that people build themselves over the life and they uh, able to progress. And Lena Anderson, she have quite good books about this. She have quite interesting book about Bildung. It's the philosophical movement and philosophy that was born in Germany and moved to the Denmark and then to all the Scandinavian countries, and it's transformed them. It's a development of Hegel and Bildung that allow us to grow and get better and get deeper understanding of the world around us, and the deeper understanding of ourselves, the deeper understanding of people around us, the deeper understanding of the communities, the countries, the nations, maybe some religion community, and the deeper understanding of the processes of the earth and the universe and the ecosystems and all those things, and taking the responsibility on the different circles. But if we getting back to the engineering, I really believe that um, the constant study of the problem domain, the business understanding, really help us to move forward. And maybe some old and forgotten disciplines that are not engineering disciplines, but they more the understanding disciplines like the philosophy. And the philosophy have the special domain for the epistemology that really try to understand the domain of the knowledge and how to represent the knowledge, what's knowledge are, how to build the knowledge, and all of the things, together with some, uh, you know, processes that philosophers have. We need to learn how philosophers argue, how philosophers build the arguments, how the logic works in a philosophy arguments, and actually how the logic works in formal logic, how it's bring the structure to our thoughts, how it's bring the structure to our architecture, and for sure the ethics, because will have a lot of we will have a lot of ethical problems in the future. So I really believe that the self-development, development of the team, development and transformation of the organizations to the new maturity level that understand the ethics, that understand the logic, that have their own philosophy and the worldview that translated as an organization mission actually could help us to get this better education, to be emotionally ready for the complex problems that we not scared and ready to solve, and we understand good enough to solve the right problem instead of wrong one. So that's all that I was keen to share with you, and I really uh, suggest you to read couple of books about the building. I really suggest you to read a couple of books about the basics of the philosophy because they will make you better engineers. Choose.